Oh, hi there. Just listening to some music. You ask what my favorite band is? Oh, you've probably never heard of them.
If you were alive and not in a cave or a bunker about 10-15 years ago, there's a chance you know what a hipster is, or were. You've probably never been one, maybe because you don't like to be labeled, especially something that was becoming more and more mainstream before it self-realized and ended itself, or just fell out of fashion, no need to get dark. Whatever, if you happen to miss the age of plaid shirts, indie rock music and this, and if you are also a gamer, stick around for a moment, I'm gonna share some games that might make you feel like you're young again.
By the way, hi, I am Not-a-witchr, and I have to be honest with you, I've never actually been a hipster myself. And not in like, no, I'm too cool to be labeled. No, I mean the whole hipster culture has passed me by because I've been living in Ukraine for all of my life. And we didn't really have it here. Yeah, surprise, not everybody is into your trends, North America, get over yourself. Yeah, I'm not sure myself about the fact that this list is made by a person who has never experienced the hipster culture in real life. Is it irony, post-irony, or just simply stupid? And yeah, I do realize that in my case it's all just kind of animoia, but for some of you, it may be actual nostalgia. With that said, I do appreciate a good atmosphere, and these games have loads of it.
No, I'm actually joking. I've never played this game and somehow I don't think it has the right atmosphere. The main thing to know about Life is Strange is that it's a game about being a teenage girl. But wait, Not-a-witchr, you might say. This isn't a list of survival horror games. Trust me, this is one of the best games with a kind of a hipster vibe. It has an amazing indie soundtrack, it has Polaroid photos as part of the gameplay mechanic, it even has indoor beanie hat style. Oh, and it also has time-controlling weirdness, so art house? I actually have no idea what art house is, but I'm kinda not sure that anybody does. The game is a narrative-focused adventure with amazing writing and charismatic characters, and probably would be best described as an interactive movie. Also, I really advise you to try the original version instead of the remastered one, because the original game has this unique art style, which may have been born out of technical limitations, but it really adds to the atmosphere and the overall hipsterness? I mean, it's a story about photography as art, but the game looks like a painting in a fusion of art styles, and that is so cool in my opinion. Also, playing the original from 2015 on modern hardware would be a really hipster thing to do.
What a lame gimmick. Even Mark, Mr. Jefferson, falls for your wave hipster bullshit.
Skipping the second Life is Strange because I f***ing hate that game and it is in no way hipster. Anyway, the third game, Life is Strange True Colors, is really good and has the right atmosphere. A small town in the mountains with one local radio station, a cool/weird DJ chick wearing a beanie, bearded guys in plaid shirts, and even its own weed shop. A story about rediscovery of lost family, self, and trust in people, which then gets tested by a murder mystery. And also the protagonist can sometimes see the feelings and thoughts of other people as colors. Really useful superpower for a detective, I would think. Cool idea, cool atmosphere, cool soundtrack. If you like personal emotional stories in cozy setting, this is a true gem.
So, this is what a mining town looks like. Thought there'd be more guys in overalls running around.
With soot all over their faces?
Exactly.
Firewatch is a game about a bearded dude from the 80s who's went through some life-changing events and now is working as a firewatcher deep in the woods of Wyoming. Being alone in a tower in the middle of the forest with the only human connection through a radio is a special feeling. the atmosphere of the game is not exactly about the hipster times, but more about the times that inspired the hipster culture in many ways. Old technology, connection to nature, no internet, and self-reflection, it's all here. And also a mystery and even some thriller elements. It is not a long game, but the experience is quite unique, and it definitely belongs to this list, though I couldn't explain why in a more coherent way whatsoever.
The code is 1234. It's actually that for all of them.
Secure.
Shut up.
Season, A Letter to the Future, is not as much a game as it is a meditative experience with exploration, finding pieces of lore from seasons past, and awkward bike riding. I mean awkward at the beginning before you get better at it. Or maybe you're already good at it, I don't know your skills. The world of the game may look somehow familiar, but it is strange and even feels fantastic, and you are on a path to understanding it. You have your journal to fill, and you have tools to capture the vibe of the places you visit, an old camera, and a sound recorder. This is another game that is not directly hipster-ish, but has the atmosphere that people would appreciate like 10-15 years ago, and it probably was at least partially inspired by that longing for the times past that I tend to associate with hipsters. Hey, I am a 40-year-old man from Ukraine, but even I can appreciate a good coming-of-age story set in the 90s. Especially one crafted with such care and attention to details as Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. The game tells us a story of 4 characters who created a teenage girl band and then haven't seen each other for 27 years, but are gathered in their hometown by a mysterious package referring to the summer of '95 when they all made an oath to each other. Sounds familiar? You are right, the game has some references to Stephen King's It, but it's just that, an homage. The story is quite unique, and has an original way of experiencing it, through a VHS camera of one of the girls. You will make your own little movies, manage the relationships between characters in the past and in the present, and you also will probably cry a little. I was very close to that in the end.
And you're Catherine, she said?
Cat.
Nora. I'm Autumn. Cool.
Nice to meet you. Cool.
Actually, many of these games are about adolescence, because in the end, what is the hipster times? It actually was a period of young people trying to define themselves through a new counterculture. And this kind of thing is always about growing up, becoming adults and realizing that you don't have to hate mainstream if you know who you truly are.
Hipster Cafe is quite different from all the games in this list. First of all, it's a tycoon simulator/strategy about managing your own cafe for hipsters, as the name suggests. It is also a game that is brave enough to put the word hipster in the title. Do you know how many games on Steam did that? Exactly 3. And one of them is Cowboys vs Hipsters. Hipster Cafe is a more ironic take on this subculture, with all the jokes and stereotypes that you can imagine, and a lot of new ones. Like really weird furniture options that you can offer for your customers, absolute freedom of self-expression in the dishes you can serve, and of course ridiculously high prices for coffee and sandwiches. This game will work for you if you like hipsters, and even more so if you can't stand them. Unfortunately, the game is still in the early access for more than 3 years already, but it has a free demo if you'd like to try it out. Now, this game is the direct sequel of the original Life is Strange, with grown-up Max Caulfield as the protagonist. The game has an instant camera as a gameplay mechanic, a great acoustic soundtrack, and cozy winter atmosphere in the college that looks a bit like Hogwarts. Okay, a lot like Hogwarts. Except for this place, which I can only describe as a hipster bar for art students. But what do I know? I've never been inside one. I mean a bar. I've never been to a hipster bar. Life is Strange Double Exposure has completely new story with new supernatural powers and a cast of diverse characters with the web of intrigue and relationships that you have to untangle to find out the truth about the murder of your new friend. It's nice to play as Max again, but I would seriously recommend not to play it anytime soon after you finish the first game. I think many people was disappointed by Double Exposure exactly because it had really big shoes to fill, and also the game feels kinda too short. But the game is nice, it has the right atmosphere for this list, and I quite enjoyed playing it. Maybe because I didn't have a lot of expectations.
I'd like to meet the artist, especially if this is a self-portrait.
Now, this game may not look like much, but in fact it's one of the best games in this list. Seriously, the story and the characters are so funny and likable and relatable. It is a narrative game with some platformer elements and guitar parts, which I am terrible at. The story is about May Borowski, a college dropout who returns to her parents in the little town named Possum Springs and reconnects to her former friends, meets new people, and gets entangled in mysterious and sinister events. It is full of little bits of lore and little side stories that you may easily miss if you don't explore. Despite its cartoonish appearance, the game touches many deep and difficult questions, toying with philosophy, religion, economical situation, human relationships, and many others. Now, I cannot put my finger at it specifically, I just know that this game belongs to this list. Maybe it's the atmosphere of Possum Springs, where people don't use cell phones because of bad reception. Maybe it's the cool and sometimes dark sense of humor of the creators, but the game feels like it belongs to the hipster times. After all, it is my list and I put whatever I want in it.
Well, that was my list of games that you might like if you miss the hipster times, whatever it may mean. If you don't like these games, it just means you're not cool enough. So thank you for watching, consider subscribing, I'm still Not-a-witchr, and as always take care and farewell.